Today marking Boeing's deadline to either plead guilty to a felony fraud charge or go to trial against the Justice Department stemming from its door panel blowout and subsequent quality control issues. Joining us right now is Oscar Munoz. He's former United Airlines chairman and CEO and, of course, now a CNBC contributor. Oscar, I'm putting you in charge of Boeing. You get to make the decision. What do you do?
Well, that's a nice hypothetical. Good morning and happy day after 4th. That is a hypothetical that I don't think anybody wants to be part of, for sure. What a difficult situation for them. Do you, on one hand, put it behind you, right? Go ahead and plead guilty, work the plea deal, pay the fines, and then move forward, or take a chance on a very high-profile, court case. It's going to last forever, and will continue to drag your brand through the mud. And of course, you're looking for a CEO. You're looking for your customers to regain their trust, and the whole combination of issues is a really daunting one. And I'm not a lawyer, so I can't advise on that. But facing that decision is clearly a difficult one. And if I'm in charge, I don't know. I don't know what I do. I don't know. I don't have all the details.
Well, so Oscar, here's my question. What do you think the brand damage is to pleading guilty? What does it do? I don't know. Contractually, are there the equivalent of like key man provisions in any contracts with different airlines or others that say, okay, if you are a convicted felon, though I know it's a corporate felon, that somehow could undo deals or other things that have been made in the past?
Yeah, there's a host of downstream effects. Clearly, the brand imagery, like everything else, the news cycle is what it is, and that thing fades. You'll always be referred to as the convicted. You'll have all those references, but you can get on with life, and depending on the conditions, you can somewhat manage. The conditions aren't great. You have people in your offices for a long period of time. You have a lot of scrutiny with regards to your continued government contracts, but all of those are somewhat manageable. It is the same things you're going to face if you're convicted. And so there's a roll of the dice. It's like if the same things are going to happen if I get convicted or not, do I just go ahead and go through with a very expensive trial? So again, it is very, very complicated a decision to make.
Things definitely, I mean, after the initial 2 accidents, they were very, just killed a lot of people, bad, the worst thing that can happen. So you get on probation where you know that you're going to be watched very closely, and you need to comply with whatever it is, somewhat stringent safety regulations. So when you see what happened with those bolts that they weren't even put on, and it just seems like you don't really need to know a whole lot else to see that you could make that stick in a trial, don't you think, Oscar? How does something like that happen? And there's other things too. That's not the only thing, but that's the most flagrant thing that shows that they did not take the safety protocols seriously.
Again, none of us are attorneys, I don't believe. Anything can happen in a court case. Facts can get presented in very different ways. Your particular example of the bolts, there could be a host of different situations that are specific to that plant, to that facility, to that time slot of the people that were working. That could be seen that it's an isolated item. Everyone is not a wholesale culture. Yes, and then you bring in all the other things and the hundreds of whistleblowers that are showing up. So clearly the facts are not with you. But again, none of us on this call or even listening are privy to all of the information that's there. And we all just see the headlines, which tend to be sensational. So I don't know those facts. And if you're comfortable with those facts, then you go ahead and go for the court case. But I don't know. It's fighting the U.S. government. Don't ever think that's a really good idea because it lasts for so long. So, again, depending on what the plea deal holds, if I were a betting man, I'd go 50.005% in favor of that. There's going to be a plea deal. Now, that one will also have to be approved by people. And unless it's really a tough plea, there's going to be a lot of pushback, certainly from the affected families, for lack of, for a very specific case. So even going the plea deal route is not an easy one, and it'll be fraught with with more issues in the near future.
Hey, Oscar, separate question just on the airline industry for the summer right now. It appears that there's been enough capacity put on, or maybe you could argue maybe too much capacity insofar as prices are down marginally in terms of where we are right now. Do you think they're going to go down further? What's your take on where we stand just from a capacity perspective?
It depends. It's so weird to be able to talk about pricing now that I'm not part of the industry specifically. But you're right. I mean, prices right now domestically tend to be, it depends on where you're going, like anything else. Right. Europe, and far off places are down because there's a huge amount of demand and plenty of capacity. But comparatively speaking to other times, it is down. So it's hard to tell. It is all such competition.
And then finally, what do you make of the competition now? And Delta's just sort of thrown down a new gauntlet. You probably saw last week or week and a half ago now. This new Delta One lounge at JFK. They're spending a lot of money to put these now in LA, New York. I think they're going to put them in some other places as well. United is either going to try to catch up or says it's trying to catch up in this sort of super premium space. Does that make sense to you? Can you make the math work? What do you think?
Well, and I have flown Delta One, and I have flown, of course, Global Service, and the clubs themselves have just improved mightily. You see this across the board. I haven't seen a lot of American airline new clubs, but both Deltas and Uniteds are just spectacular. The ones that are being rebuilt, for sure. The Delta One experience with the, you have a security function that gets you into this club. Once you get into that main club, when you have to get to your gate, it's still kind of far away. And so, yes, all of that makes a difference. It's very special. You get into a special door. Global Service has that same for United, so they're kind of equal in that regard. But that's a biased statement. Here's the big issue. You still have to fly the darn airline appropriately. My Delta One experience was great until I got to the flight, which was delayed by over an hour and a half, which happens to everyone for some reason.
But do you think the lock-in effect is real? Meaning people are not sitting on kayak trying to choose the lowest fare or the fare that the scheduled flight that makes the most sense?
Yeah, no, this industry is always, it's not as sticky as you think. It's sticky if you're a frequent flyer in a particular location, meaning out of Houston or Chicago or any of the United hubs or Atlanta for Delta. You're going to be beholden to that airline because that's where you can get to the most places at the most time, to your point on schedule. And so you're beholden to them in that regard. So that has a hold. Broader, like LA is a market that's very widely, the shares widely distributed. So I think it does make a difference there. But again, it all depends on where you're going and when you can get back. If you're going from LA to Boston, which I was doing, it was the only way I could really fly that day to get there. So I chose them. But I can see how both Global Service and One, and I suspect Concierge Key, whatever American flies, is an important one. And it's, by the way, on a tangential note, something that even someone like a Southwest is going to have to consider, because to your point of stickiness, customers are actually liking and wanting more of this for their things. So it does have an effect for sure. Otherwise, nobody would do it.